anything is possible if you believe. Do you believe that? Do you really believe that? How's it showing up in your life? You're limited? You having contrast? You see, we say we believe things, but what is belief? Belief is what you see in front of you. So what you truly believe is what you see and what you feel in this moment. You see, it is done unto us as we believe. And as we believe is a choice. It is not something we've been given. It is a choice as to how we believe. Isn't that something to be grateful for? Isn't it just to be grateful for that all of the crap that has ever happened to us, all the wives we've left behind, all the husbands we've left behind, all the money that's been taken from us, all the disease we've experienced, it's a process of our belief. Aren't you grateful for that? You see, when you can become grateful for all of that, you understand that it is your mind and your thoughts that created it. And when you understand that you have created it, you realize that the power is not out there and that you are no longer a victim. So that everything in our lives is about expanding our ability to see the unlimited potential of all that we can do, and we should just give thanks. We should literally praise our exes. Can I get an amen? Do you really mean it? Because when you praise your exes, you're saying to the universe, yes, I created that son of a bitch. Or yes, I created that other side. I created it and I am responsible, and in that I give thanks. Here's the key. What is gratitude? Gratitude is the affirmation of the awareness that there is an infinite power and infinite presence within us that responds to the nature of our thought. So every time we are giving gratitude, we are thanking the universe, we are thanking the power within, that we understand and recognize that that's what we created. And that every time we affirm that, what are we doing? We're building our belief in the power within us to create. Have you ever heard it that way before? No, I can see it. We've been told, be grateful. Gratitude is the only prayer. You ever heard that one before? Many times, was it Constant? No, it wasn't Constantine. St. Augustine, I think, said, gratitude is the greatest prayer. Well, he might have quoted someone else because there's nothing original. Everything I say, someone said before. Can we be clear about that? The only difference is the way I say it, or the humor I throw in, or the interpretation I throw, but it's all been said before. There is nothing new in the universe because there's an infinite field of infinite possibilities that's always existed, that's everywhere present, and where we focus, we collapse into experience, and that's what we say. Quantum physics, right there. You've had all you need to know about quantum physics. But it's always there, it's always been there, but where do we focus? Think about if we focus on gratitude. You wake up in the morning. Is the first thing you do you give thanks for the day? Do you give thanks for the sleep that you've just had? Do you give thanks to feel those soft Egyptian cotton sheets just touching your body in the most loving way, the way you wish your spouse would? Someone like that. Do you give thanks that there's a dog waiting for you? You hear this, woof, 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 and you go out there and this dog's going like this, just as happy. That dog is grateful. When that dog is grateful, wagging that tail back and forth, guess what? It gets more love, doesn't it? The dog is constantly getting more love because it's unconditionally being there. It's in gratitude, always showing it. So you're just there scratching it, rubbing it, giving it treats, taking it for walks, doing all that. Just think if you were grateful, you would be let out more often, you would get treats, and you would get your butt rubbed. Isn't that enough of a reason to be grateful? Here's a key point. Gratitude creates inner expectation. Think about that. When you are grateful, you are setting an expectation of having more to be grateful for. When you see something going on, let's say you're watching the news, if you still do that, and you see war, be grateful for peace. Be grateful for where you live. Be grateful for the fact that your body is whole. Be grateful for that you have the ability to live in the country where we're not touched by war like other places around the world. You know, we may not agree with all of the politics that's going on, but by God, we live in a place in the world where there is more peace. We don't have the fear of bombs coming on to us at all times. We don't have the fear of being invaded. Be grateful. You see, when we become more grateful, we will stop focus and we will change the energy of this country, and it will not be aggressive. You see, everything starts within one individual, and it starts within that individual, and it starts with gratitude. Experience what you are and give thanks for it. So if you are single, be grateful for being single. If you are divorced, be grateful for being divorced. If you're about to be divorced, be grateful for the divorce about to come. Or be grateful for the reconciliation. But be in a state of expectation. You see, gratitude builds a state of expectation. Every time you get money, I love money. I absolutely love money. I have $1 million bill here to remind me that I am a millionaire, because I can't carry all my money with me. If I had all my money with me, I'd have it on a big money pouch. You know, you have a money pouch. And if I had a money pouch on, then I would be one of these men with a big belly out to here. Would you want to see a minister with a belly out to here? I think not. But have a reminder that you can be grateful. And if you don't have $1 million, put the $1 million bill in your wallet and be grateful that you have the mental consciousness of having $1 million. Because in gratitude of the consciousness that $1 million will come, the $1 million will show for you. You see, you've got to become the person who would have the experience. You can't have the experience and become the person. You see, that's why gratitude is there. You've got to go into the future and be grateful for the new you. But you've also, before you can go into the future and be grateful for the new you, you've got to be grateful for the you that is now, and you've got to be grateful for the you that was in the past. So when I did my 10-day silent meditation retreat at the beginning of the year, in the quiet of the evening, I wrestled with demons. What are demons? They're not little beings that run around. Demons are thoughts that cause you to fear. What is fear? Misplaced faith. When you have fear, you do not believe that there's an infinite power and presence, and that power and presence is within you. Can I be more clear? If you are ever in fear, know that you are out of the belief of that. When I had those demons or those thoughts come up, they went back 35, 40 years in my life. Because I hadn't accepted them, I hadn't been grateful for them, I hadn't let go of them and what I attached to them. I hadn't done what we would call forgiveness work. Forgiveness work is just simply accepting it as part of the process. Saying, I missed the mark, I learned from it, it moved me in a new direction. So what I had to do is I had to go back and I had to look at all of these things that were a part of my life that I was, not other people, because it's always me. Can I be more clear about that? Other people do things, but it doesn't matter, because it's only our interpretation of what they're doing that affects us. An example of that is one Dr. Greg Bear uses. Let's suppose for 1 year you plan to go to Hawaii. And you are in this most magnificent resort. And that day you were by this private pool. You were staying at the Keilani Resort in Maui. And you had a bungalow-type home with your own private pool. So you expected to be there and no one's going to bother you except your lover. And you are there lying by the pool. There's a little fence right here where there's another pool with the next, very affluent person. And you're there and you're reading your book. And all of a sudden, they're splashing and it gets on your book. Oh, that was an accident. And they're splashing and it gets on your book. And again it happens and you are ticked off. And you turn over and you're about to rip the person over there and you realize they were in the pool and they were drowning. Did you notice how your whole intention shifted? Because you had made an assumption, it was your interpretation that you were being inconvenienced, when in fact it was something completely different. That's what happens when people are doing things in our lives and we take it personally. We don't understand a simple thing. They are never doing it to us. Ever. People only do things for themselves. Can we get clear about that? It is never being done to us. People are doing it for their satisfaction, for their good, for what they perceive they need. It could be their way of crying out, I need to be supported. But we take it when people do things, oh, I'm a victim of what they've done, because we've been conditioned by society around us that we're victims, that we're subject to others. No one can take our thoughts away. No one can tell us how to interpret things. And when we understand that, we give thanks for that. We're immediately in gratitude that no one can take that power away, that I am the controller of how I interpret. I am the controller of how I think. When I take that power, what am I? I understand that there's an infinite power and presence. And that power and presence is within me. And that power and presence is unlimited as to how I experience. And because I've accepted it, I now have changed my mental pattern of thought. And when I do that, I have a whole new experience. You see, when I'm in gratitude, I understand that power. So we have a dear friend of ours, and a lot of people here at Agape have met Brother Gregorio. He's a healer from the Philippines that comes once a year, comes over to our house, and people come over and get to experience the healing power of him. This man is a walking, talking gratitude machine. I mean, every moment he's with you. Oh, Brother Lee, I'm so grateful. Oh, Brother Lee, I'm so grateful for this. Oh, Brother Lee, your home is so beautiful. I'm so grateful to let me stay here. Oh, thank you for all your beautiful people in your community coming. I'm so grateful. This is nonstop. When I'm not making this up. If you talk to my wife or son who know him really well because he stayed with us 4 times now, every word has gratitude in it. He's thanking forward. And he lives this magnificent, abundant life doing what he's doing because he understands the power of gratitude. How often do you give gratitude? Do you know the one thing people love more than anything? They love to be praised. People love to be praised. What is praise? It's being grateful for them. When you say, Angelo, I'm so grateful to have you in the front row because God bless, other than musicians, no one else ever sits there. And I'm so grateful for you, Angelo, because you take the chance of when I get excited and I project that there will be liquid flowing up top your head. You see, everyone else in the community has figured out it's like SeaWorld. When the great big Shamu goes up and comes down, there is water. But it only reaches that first row. Watch next week, Angelo will be in the second row. I'm grateful for him. Without Angelo sitting there, I wouldn't be able to tell that story. Without that story, we wouldn't have laughed. Do you see how everything is about being grateful? It's about appreciation. How often do you tell your parents, if they're alive, that you appreciate them? How often do you tell your parents that are alive that you appreciate all of the stupid mistakes they have ever made and how they're still making all those stupid mistakes because you now know from their mistakes that you will do it differently. I set my son up for that, didn't I? But you see, I learned how to be the parent I am by watching my parents. My sons will learn how to be the parents they are by watching us. So everything we do, they're grateful for. My son in back is grateful for all the crap I've pulled on him. Aren't you, son? He's not talking now, is he? He yet doesn't understand there's an infinite power and presence within him in response to the nature of his thought. And when he gives thanks for the Almighty Father, me, he will be that much better in his creative process. I love playing with him. You see, my sons are my greatest teachers. Because our children come into our lives to teach us our greatest lessons. That's what I've come to understand. So why did I have children? Well, I thought it was just a natural picturing of sex. I was wrong. It was for the lessons they were bringing to me. And those lessons start from the minute they're born. I will share with you the minute I held my son Stephen for the very first time. I remember being in the hospital. I remember being in the special room, and I was in a rocking chair, and Gene wasn't there. It was just he and I was holding him. And I said to him, I'm so grateful to have you in my life. And I said, and the thing I promised him is that I will be a father where you can experience as much joy as you can ever imagine. And I was so grateful for the opportunity to be a model to a child. And when my second son came in, I said the same thing. I was so grateful, because I got to be held accountable at a higher level for who I was. Because you see, here's the key to this. People don't do what you ask. People don't do and respond to what you say. People respond to who you are. Did you hear that? So whatever's coming to you in your life, it's because of the energy of who you are that you're putting into the world. That energy that you're putting into the world is your belief structure. Because all your thoughts put together come together and form this energy. And it becomes your energy vortex. It surrounds you. It precedes you and it follows you. And no one entering into that energy can come in if they are not a match to it. So I am so grateful for my energy bubble. Because my energy bubble protects me from things that I'm not ready for. Or it protects me from things I choose not to experience. I can tell you this, there are people who other people are having experiences with that are not pleasant. And those people come toward me and they walk away. Different energy. Do you see that? People cannot come into your world unless they're vibrating at a similar range. Not an exact range, but a similar range. So be grateful for your energy. Be grateful for the bubble you've created. So when you do, let's talk about how do you do gratitude. First thing is, when you wake up in the morning, what do? I'm grateful. The second thing is, everything that happens throughout the day, be grateful for it. Know that everything you're grateful for, you're setting up an expectation. Find time to praise others. When you're dealing with people at work or you're dealing with your family, whatever, give them praise. Don't go, hallelujah, Jesus, I'm telling you this. But say, you know, I want to tell you, I admire how you handle that situation. I admire the way that you're organized. I admire the way you carry yourself. I admire the way you do this, or I admire the way you do that. Thank you. Thank people for being authentic. If you have people in your life that are authentic, those are the greatest people because those are the people you can love. You see, if you have people in your life that are not authentic, you can't love them. Do you know why you can't love them? Because they haven't shown you who they are. And if they haven't shown you who they are, how can you unconditionally accept and non-judge them? Does that make sense? That's what love is. It's accepting people, knowing that there's an infinite power and presence within them, and they can shift in any moment, and that means accept them where they are and do not be judging of them. But if they're not letting you see their authentic self, you can't have that. So if you singles people, when you're out there and you're meeting people, and you walk up and you feel a block in energy, go the other way. Because you can't change that person. And so many times we want to change people. No, when you're walking up to someone and it feels easy, oh, that means there's an energy vibration there. And immediately give thanks. And you might freak them out if you go, hey, big boy, I'm grateful that you came up to me. Because I'm grateful you have an energy that's matching mine. Don't do that. Especially if you're in a bar. I mean, well, maybe it'll work. I don't know. Let's try it. I'm not single, so one of you be my guinea pigs. Telling others is the key. Because if you're telling others that you're grateful, chances are you're telling yourself. See, you won't tell others something about what to do or be unless you can tell yourself about that. See, I come back to this. Gratitude is an affirmation and an acknowledgement that you understand the power of God, the power of the infinite is within you. The amount of gratitude you have determines how much self-worth you have. Determines how much self-love you have. See, everything that you're not grateful for, you're not accepting. You're in judgment, so you're not loving. You're not self-loving. And until you're self-loving, you've got nothing to give. So don't go into that bar and try my lines. They won't work. The key thing is become self-loving. Love yourself. Go home today. Everybody go home today, immediately after lunch, after service, and get in front of the mirror and strip butt-ass naked. And look at every aspect of your body and say, I am grateful for you. Every wrinkle, every blemish, in this case, every tattoo, everything about you. Be grateful for everything. Be grateful for whether you're young. Be grateful for whether you're old. Be grateful if you're in shape. Be grateful if you're not in shape. If you're not in shape, be grateful. Look, I made all this money and I've got this big old belly. Am I grateful? Be grateful for what you've got. Don't deny it. Say, I accept myself as I am. Be in gratitude for it. And when you do that, you'll walk into the world and you will be free, because you will walk into the world not in self-judgment. You will walk into the world accepting of yourself. And now the world can see you as you are, and it can finally, for the first time, begin to love you. Whoa. Do you want to be loved? Be you. Do you want to be loved? Be grateful. Do you want to be loved more? Love yourself more. Be grateful for yourself more. Because when you are grateful, then you can be grateful for the world. And in that, we have changed the world, one heart, one mind, one person at a time. It is the only way that change happens, when we go within and we become grateful. Let us pray. I want to thank you for joining us today. I am so grateful that you took your time to watch or listen to this message. If you found this message beneficial, I would ask you to go to our website. Once there, click on the Contribute button and experience the joy of conscious and purposeful giving. It is through your gifts that we are able to bring this message to the world. I would also ask you to please share this message with anyone you feel might benefit. Again, I want to thank you for joining me and the Agape community as together we bring joy to life.